Hi, and welcome to another one of these brief team sessions. This week I wanted to show everyone several different ways you could access full text articles through the LUCOM library holdings, through Jerry Falwell library holdings, and also how you can use some outside resources to search for full text articles within university holdings as well. So like I normally do, I want to make sure everyone knows where to find these things we're going to be talking about. If you go to the LUCOM library page and scroll down to databases and expand this menu, you'll find the links to everything we're going to be talking about. Here we put a lot of popular links. If you're looking for all of our electronic resources, you can also find them in the course guides and textbooks, but everything we're going to talk about today, there's a link for it here on databases. So the first one I want to mention is PubMed. You've probably used PubMed before, probably familiar with it, but I want to stress the importance of using the PubMed link on our LUCOM library page, because if you use that link and you look in the URL here, you'll see at the end of the address, it's got OTool equals VA LUCOM lib. So we actually use something they have called outside tool to configure their citations to match up to our full text holdings. So if you use our link for PubMed and say you're searching for pulmonary hypertension and I find an abstract citation I want to read, I click on the title. If we have that anywhere in the university holdings, whether here at LUCOM or through Jerry Falwell Library, you'll see a button here that says Get It at Liberty, and that'll take you directly to the online immediate electronic access to that article. But that only works if you use the PubMed link found on our LUCOM library page, so try to use that. I also want to point out Medline. We have a resource called Medline Ultimate, and it used to be Medline Full Text, then it was Medline Complete. Now it's Medline Ultimate. I guess that's as high as it goes, but this is a resource that indexes full text articles that are also cited in PubMed. The difference is citations and abstracts make it to PubMed a lot of times before they end up being full text indexed in Medline, so that's kind of the difference. But we purchase access to this through the EBSCO vendor. And if you've ever used any EBSCO database, they use the same interface for all of their databases. You can actually choose different databases here through EBSCO that you want to search. We just have our link going directly to Medline Ultimate. And if I am to look up hypertension in Medline Ultimate, you'll see I get results, but there's full text access for all these articles, usually as a PDF. And there's some facets you can play with here too in this resource. So that's a resource you want to be familiar with. Also, I wasn't going to show it, but there's a free open access database that has full text content that's also indexed in PubMed called PubMed Central. That's just an open access. They're not behind paywalls, and usually there's full text access through that resource as well. But we don't link that on the library page. Maybe we will. Another question I get about is JAMA, access to JAMA, and you'll find JAMAs here under our databases. And we subscribe to JAMA Network, which is basically the main JAMA publication. We've got new online issues ahead of print publication, as well as current issues, past issues you can dig through. But a lot of times I know people find articles that are in a JAMA specialty, and unfortunately we don't subscribe to all the specialties. There's a bunch here. I've gotten questions from Dr. Hogerl for JAMA neurology. Some students have asked about JAMA cardiology. These are their business model. These are separate subscriptions, and we don't unfortunately subscribe to these. But if you do find a citation from or an abstract from one of these specialty publications, you can create an interlibrary loan request for that. You can send the citation to me and I'll request it for you, whatever you like. And I'm going to show you where you can access that as well. But the turnaround for ILLs is really very quick. Actually, years ago, I signed us up for something through the National Library of Medicine called DocLine, which is an interlibrary loan service for medical libraries. And for a while, I would put in requests through DocLine and through our JFL ILL department, and our department usually was faster than DocLine, so we don't even use DocLine anymore. Another question I get about is New England Journal of Medicine, and that's kind of a cool resource that we have access to. There's some overlap between databases, but if you actually expand the Jerry Falwell Library Resources menu, you'll find Journal Search here, and that brings you to this page where you can look by category, you can search by journal title or ISSN. And if I search New England Journal of Medicine, I'll see it's online. And I want to look through the online holdings. And sometimes it's kind of difficult not to have overlap between databases and access points in libraries. So this just happens to be a very popular journal, obviously. So it's available in several different collections: Biological Science, Consumer Health, ProQuest Central, So you can access it in any of these databases that you like, but the important thing I want to point out is if you notice, they all only go back to January 3rd, 1980. That's just when they first started making electronic access. That's how far back the issues go. If you find an older article, you can send me the citation again, and I'll do an interlibrary loan request, or I can teach you how to do that, whatever you like. And also, you'll notice that they all, this vendor is one that's kind of common. They embargoed the most recent 3 months. So they're not going to have the article that was just published this month in New England Journal of Medicine. Fortunately, we have a subscription to the physical volume of this journal. So if you do find a current article that you want, I can walk over to the shelf, take it off and scan it and send that to you. So it's not a big deal. But multiple points of access for 1980 to the most recent, to 3 months ago, and for that journal. Using an outside source to access our holdings I want to talk about is Google Scholar. You're probably familiar with Google Scholar. Before I mention this, if you notice on the LUCOM library page, there's a box here that says search anything. That's Summon. That's our forward-facing point of access, how people search holdings of the university. If you've ever gone to the Jerry Falwell library page, this is the same thing. It's just they've got a little bit more options here, but you can actually search articles in the university holdings using Summon. Diane and I kind of prefer Google Scholar because you can find holdings that are not just in Liberty, but also outside, but it'll also connect to our holdings. And the way you make it do that is if you click on this ellipses over here, you'll find My Profile, My Library. If you go down to Settings and open that up, you'll see an option for library links. And you'll see, I see WorldCat, but if I search Liberty University here, we have a profile in Google Scholar. So I can turn these on, save those parameters, and search Google Scholar. And if we have full text access of an abstract or citation found in this Google Scholar with those library links turned on, you'll have a link to view it or get it at LU. So it connects the Google Scholar search interface to our holdings, as well as everything that's not in our holdings. So it's pretty cool to be able to use that in that way. On the rare chance that you find an article that you just can't seem to get a full text, immediate electronic access to it, you can send the citation to me and I'll request it on your behalf and send it to you as soon as I have it. If you want to do it yourself, that's fine too. There's Jerry Falwell Library Resources interlibrary loan link here, and that they use Iliad, which you'll have to create an account to sign into if you don't have one already. It doesn't automatically have you in the system, even if you have a Liberty username and password. But you can request all kinds of things, books, articles. This is just a new article request, and just the things with red stars or asterisks are required. So journal title, year, pages, article title. The more information, the better. So if you have volume, issue number, month, all that is helpful too. But you at the bare minimum, you have to be able to have this information, which is going to be in any citation that you find. So that's all I wanted to show you today. If you have any questions about any resources we have or accessing any articles that you haven't been able to in the past, please let me know. I'm happy to help however I can, and I hope everybody has a great week.